Let's get right into it, starting off with the front pages of the dailies. Never mind that it's a public holiday. The news never sleeps, right? So we start off with the Vanguard newspaper, and the Vanguard leads with a very, very sad sight that played out over the weekend. Uromi killings. CDS, CAN, PFN seek justice for victims. And I think overall there's been unanimity in the call for justice. And that's how it should be, really. When something as barbaric as that happens, everybody should just stand to be counted when it comes to calling for justice. No need to pander towards either religious or ethnic grounds. Let's just stick to the issues and call for justice. And I think this is the way forward. And you see, Sanusi warns Kano youths against reprisal. Kano sends delegation to engage Edo government. Okwebolo suspends security chief. Perpetrators must face justice, Rep spokesman. And Zioluwo saying Nigerians should feel safe in all regions. And I think it goes without saying. So this is something we're following up on very closely to ensure that justice is served. No to jungle justice. We've gone past all of that.
It was a very sorry sight to see people being lynched to death. So I think this should be an opportunity for us to tackle every other injustice that has been perpetrated. We've seen all kinds of killing in different parts of the country, and we've seen the charges brought against such persons. And this should not be swept under the carpet. I know they had complained that some of the suspected herders have been, killing people in that area, but you don't resort to self-help. But this should be an extension to every other form of crime in this manner, like the Deborah issue, all of that, so that people will know that all lives matter. The most important thing here is that all lives matter, whether it's happening in Kano, Borno, Edo, Rivers, Cross River, Benue, all life matters. So these people who perpetrated this, I guess the security persons they are talking about here that have been suspended, maybe the vigilante group, because when you hear security chief, I'm thinking of the CDSs and all of that. Not exactly, please. I'm sure it's a local authority in terms of security, but it was a sorry sight. I don't think you should go and watch it if you haven't seen it. Just read the headlines and just ask for the right thing to be done. And every other person who has taken a life knows what is aimed for him or her, as far as this is concerned.
Indeed, Jeffrey. The person suspended, as you said, is a commander of the Edo State Security Corps, CP Friday Badin, retired, alongside all those described as illegal vigilante groups operating in the state.
I think beneath that, before we go to the next daily, is Nigerians to pay more for petrol amid domestic dispute crude price hike. I know that the last time I stopped by the filling station, I was told it has increased to
900?
9 something. I know I bought for 8 something. Now it has increased to 9 something.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. They say that when the price of crude goes up and goes down, we should be expecting all of this. But sometimes our economy is insulated. When it came down, we felt it a bit. It came to 8 something. Now it's going up again. Anyway, let's go to this Nigeria. That's the next daily. We'll be looking at the FCT minister has greatly transformed our city. That's according to the president. Wike residents pay Sallah homage to the president. Yes, so I think that is not in dispute. You may not like his politics. In fact, a lot of people don't like his politics. But when it comes to his work, I don't think that is in dispute. He gives his heart and soul, especially when it comes to infrastructure. If I have my way, he should also go to power, whether he can, because somebody joked and said, if you send Nyesom Wike to power sector, it's either the people that are stopping the power will die or he will die. There will be, that's just exaggerating it. But I think the president has a lot of confidence in him when it comes to the work he's given him to do. We can argue about his political activism or political activities. That's another kettle of fish. Okay.
Well, we're in for a very interesting time.
Yes.
Build up to 2027 when you speak of politics. Remember, the president spoke over the weekend about when he told the FCT minister that, well, if you want me to do this for you, that's the TSA bit, then you have to make sure that my party wins FCT, understanding that you are from PDP. And it's like the president just talked about the elephant in the room, what we've always raised. When elections come, who will the FCT minister campaign for? But we're getting ahead naturally, but don't forget politics. Politicians.
It is what it is. I believe that in 2027, the 2023 anti-party activities we saw is going to be a joke. It's going to be broad-scale, large-scale anti-party activity. So it's going to be a difficult one for Nyesom Wike to support his party. I would like to say, I will be here by the grace of God.
Which is his party?
The PDP. Well, it's PDP in by registration. In spirit, maybe it's still is in the APC. But the president had told him, help us win the what do you call it? The FCT, because the PDP has always won the FCT. Yeah. But it's not in the hands of the FCT minister. When he gave that instruction, I was a bit worried. I knew it was talking politics, but I know some of these guys can take it literally. It is not in the hands of Nyesom Wike. It's not even from the FCT, by the way. It's the FCT people that will decide for themselves who they want, whether they are not interested in presidents or not.
So anyway. Be it, Jeffrey. Blueprint is next. And of course, Blueprint focuses on the Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Tinubu, Sultan, Alaafin, others urge compassion, charity. Governors harp on love, religious harmony. Nigerians won't regret backing Tinubu for second term. Ganduje. So I think it's in order that I'm also talking second term, because clearly they're talking second term. In fact, they're already planning for 2031 now, Jeffrey?
Yeah, of course.
We're saying 2027, right? But it's 2031 now that is in the works for a lot of people. But take a look at this story, and I think it's been in the news for some time now. On remitted revenues, reps secure $14.2 million from oil firms, shoot recoveries to 50 billion naira. And the writer, as 4 others get 7 days to remit $23.2 million. So if you want to understand what exactly is going on with this unremitted revenues, you find more details, but I find it really concerning that has lingered for quite some time now. But hey, it looks like the committee is doing some work. Where is that money going to? What will it be used for? That's the usual question that we get to ask, but rarely would you find answers to those questions. So this is something we'll, of course, keep tabs on.
I think before we leave, let's talk about The Guardian. It's an important headline. High interest rate choke real sector as banks break 1 trillion naira profit threshold. I think it's Zenith Bank that reported 1 trillion naira, and that has been, these are people to celebrate. They've been concerned about the debits they get from their account. But again, the interest rate is quite high in Nigeria, double digits in the 20s, and it's still very high. So this is affecting the real sector, the productive sector, the construction, the manufacturing. Those are the real sector that drive, what do you call it now? Jobs within the sector and drive the economy. So how are banks, because we have always been unsure of how this happens. Banks will be posting record profits and the economy is dying. So what is exactly going on? I think if we go down and check all our 50 kobo, 10 kobo, some of these banks allegedly may be stealing from us.
No, we've had issues. People raising the alarm and saying, I got this debit, and then they raise the alarm, and eventually it is returned. Sometimes it lasts for a while. So we've had those cases. But generally, you understand that the banking sector is, first, the most liquid sector. And once you are liquid, naturally, you're able to do other things with the liquidity.
Look, I believe there's something going on in the sector that we don't know, that we need to, and they are not ready to tell us. That's the truth, because there's a lot of, is it bills or levies, or I'm looking for the right word, the technical word.
That's the point. That's how they are liquid.
They charge you for everything.
So you pay for the service.
There was a time I bought something, and then I paid for something, it didn't deliver, but they still charged me, and they didn't return my money. So
and imagine if you multiply that by.
So these are the 10 kobos that I believe if we sanitize the banking sector, corruption will reduce, because politicians can't do anything without the bankers. One day we're going to have that conversation. Yeah. So as we're calling on politicians' head, we need to call bankers' head too as well. Anyway, my sister is also a banker.
There you go. So those are the front pages for you today. And I think the point is quite clear. The need to ensure that Nigeria's wealth goes round. I think it goes without saying. They say that if you are a rich person amongst tens of poor people, you're considered a poor person. So that's the point here, ensure that things are done right. We should distribute or redistribute wealth properly. But let's take a look at what you've been saying about the big stories. And of course, it's Eid al-Fitr. Let's see what you've been saying as Muslims around the world celebrate the end of the holy month of Ramadan, now the month of Shawwal. We begin with this one from, guess who? Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, you understand, Cristiano Ronaldo plays in Saudi, so naturally he has to wish Muslim faithful happy Eid al-Fitr. So this is what Cristiano Ronaldo has to say, saying, wishing everyone celebrating a blessed Eid Mubarak. May this special time bring joy, peace, and happiness to you and your loved ones. You know, Sallah during Christmas.
Yeah. It's always causing upset.
Right. So Ronaldo is wishing, and I think this is what it should be. There shouldn't be that, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Hey, it's a free world, or at least it should be.
I think this is coming from Kofi Amoaban. Eid Mubarak to you too. Wishing you and your loved ones endless joy, peace, and blessings on this special occasion.
So you see the outpouring of love for Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's take this last one from Mukesh Tiwari, who says, a good person is one who respects other religions while following his own religion. That's from Mukesh Tiwari, still responding to Cristiano Ronaldo, saying that you're an example of humanity and this goodness of yours takes you to great heights. So I think that should be the spirit. We just wanted to set the tone with Ronaldo's post.
I think let's go to the issue around petrol prices or PMS prices. I think that's the right way to say it. Increasing our fuel stations. I have experience. I haven't bought since it increased, and I know that where I buy PMS, I understand it's gone from the amount we used to buy to 970 or so. So Tohik says halting Naira for crude oil is starting to kick in. The government doesn't want citizens to have peace of mind. This is what they want. Okay, you have the next one.
I'm trying to decipher that. All right, Mr. Olawale is next, saying, when it was 875, there were no changes, or there was no change in price commodities. So I think what is saying, if it goes beyond, if it goes higher, there should also be no increase. Since when it came down, it didn't, prices of things in the market didn't come down, according to this user. So I'm helping you to extrapolate. I hope that's what Olawale is trying to say.
All right, this is coming from Olusegun Big Fish. Said that was the plan when NNPC stopped the crude for Naira contract with Dangote. And who's the last person here?
That's Al, or AI Ken, saying it was 950, 955 when the celebrated the pump prices crashed, and I see hence food inflation also crashed. Obviously, this user is not having it, saying that those thinking witches do not exist are yet to look up to appointees. Come on, we understand that you're not happy about this, but I think it's also good for the players to really speak to this. So we had a crude for Naira agreement, right? And then government says we're going to review this after 6 months, and we've not gotten clarity on the direction. Will it be renewed? Will it be ended? But this is the last day in March, right, Jeffrey? So we should be able to find out today or tomorrow. But with the sector, it always works with futures. You need to know how to plan. So if we don't have any word yet, it's most likely that it wouldn't continue. But the point is, this is strictly business at the end of the day. And I think that's something people don't understand. A lot of Nigeria's crude, the futures and forwards, have been sold ahead, right? So how much crude does Nigeria really have to swap? A lot of issues, but maybe we'll go to the next one, Jeffrey.
Yeah, so that you know our crude has been sold for your future and my future. It's actually been sold by the NNPCL. I don't know how long we're going to clear that, all of those obligations before we can get, if not, would be no more than enough sufficient. President Bola Tinubu condemning the murder of those traveling, those hunters that were killed in Uromi in Delta State. So these are your reactions. Sunday Truck says this is horrible. Really horrible. It is really horrible. Insecurity is a major cause of this, and the government is less concerned to provide solutions. Honestly, no one should lose their lives like this. Justice must be swift.
Definitely. And this user, Nico, says, can we know the identities of the so-called traveling hunters? This user says, which states are they from and where were they heading to? Are they really hunters? Are they really Nigerians? Proper investigation must be carried out. So I think all of these things can happen at the same time. And I think it's part of the investigation. But the point is, justice must be done. You cannot take the law into your hands. You're not a law enforcement. There's a process. There's arrest, there's a processing, there's a prosecution, there's a court, and then there's the eventual declaration of guilty or not guilty before any punishment can be meted out. And I understand there's been lots of challenges in that area, but two wrongs, they say, can't make a right.
All right, before we wrap up, let's get to where the president, in part of the people who visited him, he had said that in those meetings, he nearly quit the 2023 presidential race because the odds were against him. Ikechi is saying that if there is a way to build a movement by winning these people over with dialogue, kindness, and around clear ideologies that are consistent with human freedom, okay, is there a way with human freedom and prosperity? So for the record, Nigerian politicians, I'm sorry, with the greatest sense of respect, there's no ideology in our politics. So if you're expecting ideology, look somewhere else, not here at all. That's why they keep changing parties every now and then. So it's not, even within the same party, they have different ideology. Muhammadu Buhari had a different economic ideology from President Bola Tinubu. So that's how inconsistent these ideologies are.
To be fair, Jeffrey, maybe there's some sort of ideology. Inconsistency in ideology can be an ideology.
Not having ideology is their own ideology.
The ideology is move wherever the spirit. They always say our people.
Bola Tinubu, by our president, is right of center in his economic ideology. President Muhammadu Buhari is left of center in his economic ideology.
Yeah.
But they are the same party.
Oh, yes, within the party, you have Buharists, you have Tinubu, you even have people for former vice president of Shimbajo, and, you know, it goes on. And that's why you see some of those, I wouldn't call it divisions, really, but there's just usually disagreements over ideology and policies. But basically, that's what the president said, but clearly he didn't give up. In fact, they're planning 2027 already. So those are the issues that you have been speaking to. We'll take a quick break now. And when we return, we're starting off with the big celebration of the day. What does a day signify? What does it mean? And how can it transform the reality for a lot of people? That's the moment. Stay with us.